Hey, what's going on, all my YouTube folks out there? Just wanted to do a quick take on the collapse of the Clippers and what went wrong this year with the Clippers. Gonna try and give my explanation and give my reasonings why I think the Clippers weren't successful this year. Don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, hit the like button to let you know when I'm dropping videos and content. Thank you to everybody so far that's subscribed and give me feedback on the channel so far. Let's get into it. So, what I think happened to the Clippers. First of all, I think, and this, I may have to do a separate topic on this, but just the fact of the whole load management thing, I think that played a major part in the fall of the Clippers this year. You heard Doc Rivers, you heard Lou, lemon pepper Lou. I thought that was funny. I heard that the other day. A lot of people call him lemon pepper Lou, but you heard him. You heard Kawhi. You heard Palmdale Paul, aka Paul George, who also showed up as usual this playoff series in the big games too. But you heard these guys talk about chemistry, playing together, getting used to each other, getting used to each other's spots out on the floor. You heard these guys talk about chemistry, and I think one of the biggest reasons why they could never find their chemistry between each other is because they did a lot of load management with Kawhi. You know, just because it worked in Toronto didn't mean that, or it doesn't mean that it's going to work every year. You know, I think the stars just aligned for Toronto last year. I'm not taking anything away from that team. You see, they had great chemistry. But you also got to look at some of the other factors. Golden State wasn't fully healthy. So people tend to look over that KD didn't play, and Clay got hurt in Game 6. But getting back to the Clippers, their chemistry never really seemed to take hold this year. They never really seemed to gel. Kawhi and Paul George always seemed to me, kind of clash with each other. And nobody wanted to admit that. But the real, people that wanted to, that talked about the Clippers' issues was, could Paul George and Kawhi playing the same position really coexist? And people just kept saying, "Oh, they're great wing guys. They'll figure it out. Kawhi can play off anybody. They're both fantastic wing defenders, so they'll figure it out." But you could see the last 3 games of this series, you can really see them struggling offensively. Their offense, when it didn't move the ball around and really get other people in the offense, getting them involved, all they would do is throw the ball to Kawhi, and he would try and go one-on-one and get that mid-range jumper. But that played right into Denver's hands, because Denver is more of big, not necessarily slow just because they have Jokic, but really big, girthy team. And they walled off the lane. And when you can't penetrate and get to the basket and kick out, and when you're not knocking down those threes, you could see the Clippers' offense really got bogged down. So I think load management would be my first really topic in speaking with the Clippers' issues this year. The second thing is their size. That was another big issue at the beginning of the year, and I talked about that in the last video. Check out my last video. I did think the Clippers were going to win, but in the back of my mind, being a Laker fan, I was hoping what happened yesterday happened. But I did think they were going to win. But let's get back to the topic at hand. Their size, like I said, Zubac is serviceable for what he does, but when you put him against a real star, real superstar, this guy, he's not a starting center. His talent doesn't allow him to really go out of his realm. And then once you got past Zubac, now you're putting a 6'7", 6'8" Montrezl Harrell or Marcus Morris trying to guard Jokic, who's all of 7 foot and about 260, 270. So that was another Achilles heel for the Clippers that, I said at the beginning of the year, and a lot of people said that weren't sipping the Kool-Aid at the beginning of the year, and we thought it was going to be with AD, who was going to stop AD, but it turned out that they had nobody that had an answer for Jokic at all. Nobody. As you could see last night, he just topped it off with a triple-double with 16 points, 22 rebounds, and 13 assists. The Clippers' size was a problem for them all year. And it really got exposed. And you could see during the 7-game series, your weaknesses are going to get exposed. The game 1 is usually the fill-out game for everybody. Game 2, people kind of make adjustments. Game 3 is usually really the turning point to let you know how the series is going to go. But for Denver, they just, they wait until they're down 3-1 and down by 15 in the third quarter, and that's their turning point. So the Clippers, you could see their flaws and deficiencies really came out as the series went along with Denver. And like I said, chemistry and the big man or their size really was glaring weaknesses for them. And the third thing, I think, with the Clippers this year, I just don't think Doc really coached well in this series. Doc didn't make any adjustments to really kind of curtail some of the deficiencies that they had. Like I said in the last video, I think that they should have really tried to push the pace more. They kept saying it, we want pace, we want pace, we want pace. But they never really did that. They really got slowed down to a half-court game during this series. And like I said, Paul George and Kawhi really eat up the same spots on the court. So it really couldn't allow anybody else to get off. Lou struggled mightily last night. He only had 7 points, and really for the series, he struggled on defense. Him and Trez really on defense were exposed in that pick and roll. They had nothing, absolutely nothing for Denver in that pick and roll game. Once Jokic and Murray really found their niche, they really, really exposed the Clippers for not being able to rotate in that pick and roll with Denver and Jokic and Murray. And so, yeah, I'd never really seen Doc make any adjustments during this series. And for him to be a championship level coach, Doc has really shown me in some series that he's not willing to adjust as a coach. Like they said, that Doc, he's the only coach to lose multiple 3-1 series leads. He did it in Orlando when he lost 3-1 series lead with prime Tracy McGrady. He did it with the Clippers in 2015 against Houston with that Lob City team, who I thought was I mean, I thought those guys, that was really a threat to me for them to take over LA. And then, of course, last night, losing that 3-1 series lead to Denver. But you know, I'm curious to see what the Clippers are going to do next year. Are they going to load manage as much next year? Because don't forget, Paul George and Kawhi will be free agents after next year. So we'll see if they come back and take the regular season more serious this time around. And let's see what they can do with their roster. You know, Trez is a free agent. Marcus Morris is a free agent, and Reggie Jackson are all free agents, and they don't have any draft picks to really improve or do anything else with their team. So it's interesting to see what Jerry West is going to do and that organization is going to do. You give me your take. Let me know what you think, why the Clippers collapsed this year. And leave the comments in the comment section, and let me know how you feel and what they could do moving forward. Well, that's my quick take on the Clippers this year. You know, we'll see how they can improve. Don't forget, everybody, to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, hit that like button, and hit me in the comment section. Hit me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and let me know what you guys think. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Peace.